You will literally never sleep again if you don't watch this video. Context, I've had insomnia. I'm 21 years old. I've had insomnia for as long as I can fucking remember, pretty much since I was a youngin'. I think there's various fucking causes of it. I think a lot of it, vast majority of it is just anxiety, whether it's anxiety around the sleep specifically, which is mainly the thing and mainly what we're gonna talk about, or anxiety about other things in my life, whatever. I'm not gonna give you like the fucking sleep hygiene, like go to bed and wake up at the same times every day, fucking stuff like that. I'm gonna assume that you already have those things in check and you still can't sleep most likely. I can make a separate video about that for anybody who wants that type of thing. My coach actually just made a very good video about that. If you guys know Declan, he just made a good video about that. I would link it in the description, but I know I'm gonna forget, so fuck you. But let's get straight into it. First thing, you are not an insomniac. You don't have insomnia. What are you talking about, Nick? You just said all this shit like you're clearly talking to somebody who has insomnia. Not anymore, motherfucker. And I don't mean that just like after you watch this video, you're never gonna have insomnia again. But I mean, stop identifying and calling yourself an insomniac. Stop creating this story in your head that you are an insomniac, that you can't sleep. People will hear this and they will think that it's woo-woo. They think it's wishy-washy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like identity, manifesting, any bullshit like that. It sounds like bullshit, and I agree, but it's not. This is gonna be so annoying. Fuck me. I need to get like something to fold this thing up. But it's not wishy-washy. It's not bullshit. It's real, man. Let me put it to you this way. I just made a video about this. If you were, let's say you were cutting, and the mindset you had about yourself, the story you had about yourself, the identity you have for yourself, whatever, is that you are a binge eater and you aren't gonna be able to keep the weight off after you lose it. You're gonna end up rebounding afterwards. Do you think you're gonna be able to lose that weight successfully and then keep it off afterwards, let alone lose it at all? Or are you gonna have that in the back of your mind the whole time and then end up negotiating with yourself to try to prove that story right? Whether you realize it or not, whether it's subconscious or not, most of the time it's gonna be subconscious. But I promise you it happens. The identity you have for yourself will become your reality. You will find a way to make it your reality. So stop calling yourself an insomniac. Stop saying that you have insomnia. It's not true. Also, think about it this way. You're already just creating a negative association, like an anxiety around it, because obviously nobody wants to have insomnia. Nobody wants to struggle to sleep, right? So by already framing it in that way, you're making it more likely that you're not going to sleep well because you've created a negative association around it. You created this anxiety around it, etc., etc. I already said that, so I don't know why I repeated myself, but hopefully that makes it even more like clear why this is not a good mentality to have. So the new mentality you're going to have is you do not have insomnia. It's simple as that. You can sleep well because you have before, and you will again, and you will tonight, and you have to genuinely believe that shit. You have to literally gaslight yourself into believing that shit. Otherwise, you will not sleep well. It's just like when you ask for things in prayer, you have to truly believe that God's going to answer your prayer. Whether it's He's going to give you that thing specifically or He's going to answer it in some other way, you have to have full faith that He's going to answer your prayer. Otherwise, He's not going to answer your prayer. And I will touch back on that kind of topic later on, I'm sure. But whether you believe in that or not, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. You should believe in it, but whole other story. Anyways, so we've attacked the identity. You're not an insomniac. What's the next point? I want to see if I can do this off the dome. I wrote like a notes list, but I didn't bring my computer because I'm a jackass, and this is just off the dome. Fuck, I gotta check. Okay, next one. This is probably the biggest one. Detach from the outcome. I know you're like, really, bro? This is very hard to put into practice, but this is generally the key. Detach from the outcome. What's gonna happen if you don't sleep well? You've done it for the past however many years of your life, I'm sure. What happens? Does your day change? I mean, obviously you probably feel tired and you feel like shit, you're moody, irritable, all these things. I'm not saying you should like these things and you should want these things. It's fucking horrible. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But realistically, what's gonna happen if you don't sleep well tonight? Are you gonna change your day tomorrow? Is anything gonna change? Are you gonna die? Are you gonna not be able to do all the things you wanted to do? Is it gonna be harder to do those things? Maybe, yeah. But realistically, how much is gonna change? Not much. So who fucking cares? Stop caring so much about your sleep. Stop trying to force your sleep, which I'll get into that. That's kind of a separate thing. But just stop focusing so much on it. You ever notice how you can go weeks on end? If you're anything like me, you can go weeks on end where you sleep perfectly fine, and then it takes one bad night, and then all of a sudden you're focusing so much on it and you're kind of stuck in this cycle now. You just can't sleep well. There's multiple layers to that, which we're going to unfold, don't worry. But a big part of it is just the fact that you're now stressing so much about it and focusing so much on it. Much like when you have one bad day of eating, that sets this negative feedback loop for all these different reasons, and a big one of those reasons is just the fact that you're stressing about it so much, which then makes you more likely to try to deal with that stress and escape that stress with food. It's a whole nother story. But It's the same idea. Stop worrying so much about your sleep. It's not that big of a deal. Like it is, we know that it is, unfortunately, but you got to try to forget that shit, because either way, you're going to live your life. You're going to do your thing. I still do all the things that I set out to do every single day. I'm not even going to, my ego wants to like brag about all the stuff I do. I don't do that much. So fuck you, Nick. Fuck your ego. And you should do the same thing. But anyways, holy tangents, Nicholas. What are we doing here? Motherfucker's named Nicholas and he's talking all this shit. Okay. Now I'm losing the plot here, friends. But so detach from the outcome. Like literally my coach used to have me track my sleep, and that made me stress so much about it, because I would be like, how much sleep did I get last night? And that's what I would be thinking about at night. Another big tip here I just thought of: get clocks out of your room. Like this will help you do this. Get clocks out of your room. Don't check the time. If you have to wake up in the middle of the night to pee, especially after you like haven't been able to sleep the whole night, do not check the time. Ignorance is bliss here, my friends. Ignorance is bliss. So don't even check the time. I don't have clocks in my room. I don't check my phone, none of that. I leave it up to whatever. If I get 5 hours of sleep, I don't care. If I get 7 hours, awesome. Obviously I'll feel better on the 7 hours, but I just don't even focus on it. And I don't even know how much I sleep every night, because it doesn't matter, because I'm going to live my life regardless, like I said. And the more you focus on that, the worse everything gets. So I literally stopped tracking my sleep with my coach. I had to tell him, like, this stresses me out more. It's making my insomnia worse. So would it be cool if we just don't track? And he was like, yeah, of course. And we haven't tracked for months since because of that. And my insomnia, I forgot to preface this at the beginning. The reason I'm fired up to make this video is because it's kind of come back the past few days. And that might be ironic. Like, how are you going to preach this shit if you struggle with it still? But whether you, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. But I was doing well for a long time, and it's because I've been practicing all these things, and I've tried everything under the sun. I should have prefaced that as well. I've had this shit for my whole life, basically, like I said. So I've tried everything under the sun. These are the things that will really hopefully help you out. Maybe one thing will help a lot, one thing won't help at all. Everybody's different, obviously, but I really hope something helps you out, because I know, like I said, how bad this shit is. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Much like binge eating, which is another thing that I struggle with, as the people who know me will know that, and you can watch my other videos on that if you're interested in that. Those are the two things that I really struggle with, besides, like, this is not a pity party. We're not going down the road. If anybody's curious, fucking, I don't know, maybe I can make a video about the struggles I've been through. It's nothing compared to most people. I'm very privileged. If you could see where I'm at right now, I'm a very privileged boy. But man, I should say, I'm 21. Fucking grow up. Okay, shut up, dude. This is what happens when you don't talk to anybody, or you don't hang out with anybody, I should say. I was at work. I was talking to people all day, but when you don't hang out with anybody, you barely talk to anybody besides, like, your clients and shit. This is what happens. Motherfucker's just talking to himself. Okay, so we're going to try our best to detach from the outcome. Another thing here is, and going along with this, stop trying to force it. When you get into bed, if you have on your mind, like, I gotta sleep well, that goes back to the same idea, but stop trying to force it, dude. Just surrender it. I know this is hard to actually put into practice. I, for the longest time, have been like, I hear people say this all the time, like, surrender it to God. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, how do I actually do that? And I still don't really know how to articulate this, but you just gotta surrender. You gotta believe that it's gonna be fine regardless. There's really good scripture that I like to tell myself on this. One of them is, I believe it's Psalm 4, chapter 4, verse 8. I'm definitely gonna butcher this, but I believe it's, in peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. I repeat that to myself. There's a lot of other ones, but that's a really good one. That's just the main one that I have memorized. In peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. How does that not bring you peace? Like, if you don't believe, obviously, then you're screwed, but so that's more motivation to start believing, because I believe that's a big part of when I do have success. It's when my faith is strongest, when I truly believe that I'm going to sleep well tonight. And then regardless, like, God has me, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to pray, and God's going to take care of the rest. It doesn't matter. Surrender it to him, to whatever you might believe in. If you don't believe in anything, trust the universe. I don't fucking know. Whatever you want to think about. You're going to be fine. You're not going to die. Just let it happen. Go listen to Let It Happen by Tame Impala. It's a fucking amazing song. And I know, again, I feel like this isn't helpful because you already know this, but I'm sure I'm going to think of other things that are going to tie back to this. I'm just running out of steam here a little bit. But next thing that I just thought of, and now I forgot, of course, is, I have to check again. Fuck. This is a big one. If you struggle with racing thoughts at night, if that's the root of your insomnia, which it is for me, you need to spend more time with your thoughts. If you're anything like me and like everybody in the world right now, every second of the day you're doing something. You're watching fucking TikTok, you're watching YouTube, you're listening to music, listening to podcasts, you're talking to people, you're fucking doing something. You're constantly stimulated, right? How often do you actually spend time alone with your thoughts and let them race? Probably not a lot. And you wonder why when your head hits the pillow at night, now your thoughts are racing, right? Because you're not stimulated by something for once. So, easy fix here. Spend more time during the day doing this. Go for a walk. I preach this all the time, so you guys are probably sick of this, but go for a walk outside and just talk to God. Let your thoughts race. Let everything just come out. Like, don't even try to hold back. Don't try to stop your thoughts from flowing. And that's another thing I'll get into later, but just spend time alone with your thoughts, man. Spend time without stimulation. I personally try to spend time during the day doing this, and at night, every single night, I'll spend however long I need. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes and I'm falling asleep in my chair. Most of the time it's that way, unfortunately. Some of the time I'll be sitting in my chair for 20, 30 minutes plus sometimes, just letting all the thoughts race. I've got a bunch of stuff on my mind, whether it's stuff that happened today, stuff of tomorrow, whatever it is. I let all those thoughts race. That way I'm not doing that when I hit my bed, because we don't want to create a negative association between your bed and racing thoughts, anxiety, insomnia, any of these things. So it's another huge thing here is we have to break this association that you've probably created with yourself and your bed and your brain. I didn't articulate that well at all, but so this is going to be very hard. But first thing, before I get into that, don't get into your bed until you're like exhausted, until you're ready to fall asleep, truly. You don't want to spend any time tossing and turning. Don't spend time on your phone, anything like that. I'm assuming you already have that stuff in check. That's basic sleep hygiene. Again, I can make a separate video about that if you want. Just comment below. Said some cornball YouTuber. I almost said a bad word there, but yeah. So what the fuck was I even saying, dude? So yeah, don't create that negative association between your bed and not being able to sleep. We want your bed to be an awesome place where you sleep beautifully and it's all sunshine and rainbows and you don't have to worry about anything. So this is very hard, and I don't even really do this one myself. I need to though. When you're not sleeping well, if you've been tossing and turning, rolling around for an hour or two, just get up, get out of bed, because you're only making things worse, not only for yourself tonight, but for future nights. You're going to condition your brain to create this pattern, this association where now every night, this is what happens. You get into bed, you fucking let your thoughts race for 2 hours before you fall asleep. That's become the new norm. You got to break that shit. As hard as it might be, especially if you're exhausted, if you have insomnia, which you probably are exhausted all the time, it's gonna be very hard to force yourself to get up, but I bet you it will be worth it in the long term. It's one of those things, much like where a lot of people will be stuck in the cycle of, holy stutter, oh my gosh, stuck in the cycle of being where they won't sleep well and then they'll fucking slam caffeine and then they won't sleep well the next night because they had caffeine too late and they're stuck in that cycle, right? So like a lot of my clients will struggle with this, and what I'll tell them is you just got to suffer through it today. I know it sucks. You got to think more long term. Think about a couple days from now when you're able to sleep well and you don't even need the caffeine, versus how you feel right now where you might feel tired and you might really want that caffeine. Think long term, delayed gratification, much like dieting, all these different things. A lot of these things you can see, the identity stuff, the detaching from the outcome, stressing yourself out about it, all these things, they all kind of layer back to the same fucking principles, man. It's all the same shit. So I'm sure I'll make another video about dieting, talking much like this. If you guys like this, I didn't have to make like a slideshow or anything like that. So this was very enjoyable. I'm not done yet though, don't worry. I'm definitely gonna speed this shit up because I'm all over the place here. I think I have like 15 minutes of footage already. So what were we just talking about? Yeah, that negative association, we wanna break that. We want your bed, like I said, we want your bed to be a place of sleep. So anything other than sleep, we don't want that association. I sound like a fucking idiot now. Give me a break, hold on. Okay, those were actually the main points that I had written down, but I'm gonna try to go off the dome here. Another thing, and this kind of goes back to the sleep hygiene stuff, like I made short form videos about this, so that's why I'm kind of like, I don't want to be redundant here, repetitive, but a big one for me, like if you struggle with anxiety in general around all this stuff, or just in general, like I said, a big thing that I highly recommend doing, kind of goes along with the spending time alone with your thoughts before getting into bed. Make sure you have everything, any task that you didn't finish on your to-do list, like get that shit done. Plan out your day for tomorrow now. Like, make sure everything is taken care of. You have nothing to worry about. You don't have to have all this anxiety about what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I going to do? You don't have to be thinking about this shit, trying to plan it as you're trying to go to sleep. No, have all that shit figured out, planned out to the fucking T. However on deck you want to be about that, up to you. I plan out my food, my entire day, everything. I make sure I take care of everything. I have all my messages answered. Make sure my clients are taken care of, stuff like that. Anything that's going to give me anxiety, I make sure that I get that shit over with. It's out of my mind. I don't have to worry about it. I can just go to bed. Simple as that. If you have anxiety about anything, you're not going to sleep well. Pretty simple. Pretty self-explanatory. So do what you can now to set yourself up to sleep better by doing those things. Yeah, so again, a lot of this stuff, it's super fucking hard when you're in the midst of it. Like I said, you can go if you're like me, you can go weeks where you don't even have to worry about this much and you kind of forget about it and you're like, maybe I'm finally done with the shit. And then it'll take one day and now you're stuck in the cycle again. So a lot of this stuff, like the anxiety around it, stressing about it, detaching yourself from the outcome, all these things, it's very hard to do when you're actively experiencing it. But all it takes is one day a lot of the time. So that's what I'll tell. This more so applies to dieting. I'll tell people, like, tell my clients or friends, whatever, just win one day and then you create this momentum, all that stuff. I don't even want you to think about that actually, because again, it's kind of counterintuitive to what I said before about, or contradictory is probably the right word. Contradictory to what I said before about detaching from the outcome, because now you're stressing about it. So don't even think about that. Do whatever you possibly can to not care about it. Again, I know it's very much easier said than done, but this is something you can kind of practice and it'll get better over time, especially as you start to sleep better. You'll start to worry less and less about it. But yeah, again, the anxiety thing is huge. Like in high school, where like my anxiety was probably its worst, was when my when my insomnia was probably its worst, was when my anxiety was its worst. When I had fucking crippling social anxiety about school the next day. And that's a whole nother video, story for another time. But I could not sleep at night for the life of me because I would be so anxious about what's gonna happen tomorrow, who I'm gonna have to talk to in class, like stupid shit that's like laughable to me now, even though I still struggle with that a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Again, whole nother story. If you guys want a video about that, about social anxiety, I'm happy to make that. But that's when my sleep was the worst. And again, I mean, I'm sure this is obvious, like you probably know that by now, that anxiety and stress, I should say as well. Anxiety and stress are very much linked to insomnia. So if you can do whatever you can to mitigate these things, don't work too late is another thing. Like that's basic sleep hygiene stuff, but it really fucking matters here. Like when I'm at school and I'm fucking studying till like 10 p.m. and then trying to go to bed 30 minutes later, like, yeah, good luck sleeping, buddy. So yeah, man, whatever you can do to, like, whatever's in your control, take care of that. Whatever's not in your control, leave it to God. God's gonna take care of you. You, up to this point, whether you believe in God or not, whether you've had a horrible life and it's very hard for you to believe in God and believe that he does things for good for you, I totally understand that. But regardless, up until this point, you're alive, you're breathing, you've made it through your hardest days, you've slept, you've lived. Like I said before, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna go about your life regardless of how well you sleep, right? So trust in that. Trust in the fact that you're gonna be okay regardless. It's not that deep. We're on a floating rock in space. Like I said, God's got you. I can't not say it. I don't know how you can live on this earth and see all these trees and the animals and the humans, the fact that I'm talking right now, that I'm alive, and not think that there's a creator. Whether you believe in God or in Jesus, which you should. I'm not gonna say you should, but very hard, very touchy subject here. But I don't know how people don't believe in a creator. This is a whole other story for a whole other day, but just, there's a creator, man. There has to be a creator. Again, whether you believe in a one true God or in some other, I don't care what you believe in. Trust in whatever it is. Find some trust somewhere. You're gonna sleep so much better. Trust in yourself. I don't care what you do. I highly don't recommend that, but find something to trust in. Okay? That's the moral of the story here. This is the long ass tangent. Now I don't even know what I'm talking about. This probably isn't even very valid by now. If you're still watching this shit, then maybe something in here is valuable to you, hopefully. I feel like there's more shit to talk about here, man. Like, I could generally talk about this all fucking day. I feel like I hit the major things here. Again, this is like some of it is kind of obvious, maybe, depending on what you've seen, but I didn't give you the obvious fucking go to sleep and wake up at the same times every day, stuff like that. Make sure you have all that stuff in check. Then look at this stuff. This is not medical advice, and this would be like last resort type of stuff, but magnesium, L-theanine, saffron, I'd look into that one. Those are the main ones in terms of like anxiety, stress, sleep. Those ones are pretty helpful. Glycine's great for general sleep. Yeah, I mean, I can make a separate video about that again if we want to deep dive into like sleep hygiene, supplements, stuff like that, but those things might help you out here as well. Yeah, it largely comes down to just detaching from the outcome, not identifying as an insomniac, not creating that story for yourself, truly believing that you're going to sleep well tonight, identifying as like a pro sleeper. Also, I just remembered, and this is part of the inspiration for this video, but Matt Walker, if you guys know him, he's like one of the major sleep experts in the online space. I believe he's like I think he works at Harvard. Regardless, he just dropped a podcast called Wired podcast episode called Wired But Tired, and it goes into some very cool stuff. A lot of it is the stuff that I talked about here, but there's some other cool stuff in there. I would definitely give that a listen. Or Tired But Wired, whatever the fuck. I forget what it is. I think it's Tired But Wired is the saying. Go watch that. But we're not identifying as an insomniac. We're gonna sleep well tonight. You have to truly believe that shit, and it will happen. But we're also not gonna focus so much on it and try to force it. Be like, I have to sleep well tonight. I have to shut off my... That's another thing. If you struggle with like racing thoughts, don't try to stop them. Let them flow, man. The more you focus on it and you try to stop it and you stress about it, you can't stop your thoughts. They're gonna flow regardless. We don't want them to race like crazy, bounce back and forth a million fucking things, like a million miles a second. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but we also don't want to try to stop them completely and focus so much on them. We just want to let it happen, man. If you gotta think about, like, when I was a kid, the only thing that helped me sleep was every single night I used to imagine myself, because I played hockey my entire life, or up until recently I should say, but I would imagine myself in a game, literally in a game of hockey, and just like, at one point I was like super scared of, like, I don't even remember what it was, like there was various things, like certain movies, I think certain songs like scared me. I was a weird kid, bro, but I would have to sing fucking, this is crazy, not a soul on this earth knows this, so if you're watching this, wow, I should take this to the grave. But if you know the song Talk It Dirty by Jason Derulo, horrible fucking song by the way, but I had that like downloaded on Apple Music and I liked it, I guess. I would have to sing that song to myself every single night to get myself to sleep. Otherwise, I would think about like certain songs or certain things that would just like make me so scared and anxious. So I would literally have to play and like basically play that song in my head and fucking and imagine myself in a hockey game, like basically simulate myself in a hockey game. And when I would like just kind of have those things playing in the background and trying to focus on those things, that helped me sleep. So take with that what you will. I can't believe I just said that. Wow. I think somebody either asked me this or like I had a dream about this or something where it was like, what's one thing that nobody knows about you? And I was trying to think. I couldn't think of anything, but here we go. Here it is. Totally fucked. Anyways, nobody's watching this shit, so who gives a fuck? This is gonna get like 5 views. My last video actually did quite well. Surprisingly, it's at like over 100 views, which is, it's good for me. So so that actually motivated me to start doing more of these. I know this one's not gonna do that well because it's completely different to my normal stuff, but maybe it'll reach different audience of people who struggle with this, hopefully. I just want to help people out because I know this fucking sucks and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. Don't try to force your thoughts to stop. And a good way to potentially do that is to maybe, like people will say, like count sheep, or like the cognitive shuffle is something that Matt Walker talks about in that thing where you kind of, I believe it's like you think of a word, let's say like carrot, I don't fucking know how I thought of that, but C, think of something that starts with C that's unrelated to like fucking cock, and then grow up, dude, you're 21, and then A is like fucking awesome, it's something like that, like the cognitive shuffle. There's different things like that that you can do and you might want to look into. I found that when I was trying to do those things, it just made things worse because I was trying to focus too much on these different things and just care too much about it. So generally, the biggest thing when I sleep the best is when I just don't care about it. I don't care how I sleep later. And I know that I believe that I will sleep well regardless, but I also don't care if I don't. That's where you have to try to find the middle ground of not caring how you sleep, but also believing that you will sleep well. But regardless, it doesn't matter. You're going to be fine. God's going to take care of you. Let your thoughts out during the day before you hop into bed. Don't create that negative association. Those are the main points. I think I've had enough. Hopefully you've had enough of listening to my dumbass. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I have a ton of video ideas. And I'm kind of fired up to make more of these, just provide as much value as I can. But yeah, man. Peace out, I think.